having an amazing week. Thank you for tuning in. So, we will be talking about thinking safety can only be achieved through perfection, and then how we fixate on our body for safety, or how safety feels conditional, something along those lines. So, let's get started. So, yesterday I was at work and I was with one of my friends, and she asked me if I had worn the shirt that she gave me on my birthday, which was 2 months ago. I proceeded to tell her that I haven't, because I haven't been feeling comfortable with my body, so I didn't feel comfortable enough to wear the shirt. But the moment I lose weight, I would be wearing the shirt. She immediately apologized. I think she realized how uncomfortable I felt answering that, but she wasn't judgmental or anything. I think she genuinely understood where I was coming from. She started complimenting me, telling me how I was beautiful and how I didn't need to lose weight and I could just put on the shirt right now and I would look amazing. And then she told me that she knew exactly how I was feeling. She had recently gained weight. Some items from her closet weren't fitting as always, and how whenever she expressed herself, everyone would just immediately compliment her, which was exactly what she did to me, and how she understands that doesn't really help. And I don't know, we talked about it for a few minutes, and then after that, we just left the conversation, but it was still weighing on me. Like the whole day I was just thinking about it because I don't know, like when she told me that if I were to put on the shirt right now, I would look amazing. I really wanted to believe her. I really, really wanted to believe her. But a part of me just wanted to tell her, if I were to put on the shirt right now, you wouldn't be saying that. Because if you knew exactly how my body looked like, you wouldn't think it looks pretty. I don't know, it feels like the body that I have, you would compliment if it's someone else's, but if it was your body, you would feel as insecure as I feel. I just felt very upset because it just gave me the sensation that I was hiding my body, which I low-key am. I mean, I'm not wearing like really fitted clothes. I'm usually wearing like something a little bit baggier because that's what I'm feeling comfortable with at the moment. So I'm not intentionally trying to hide my body, but I do have the impression that nobody knows exactly how my body looks like, and that's why they think I'm beautiful. Because I remember being in high school and people complimenting my body and having the same thoughts, thinking if they knew exactly how my body looked like, they wouldn't be saying that. For some reason, I feel like I'm able to fool everyone around me, and I'm so desperate for them never realizing how my body actually looks like. And I just got home. I really didn't feel like journaling, but I did, so I do want to share my reflection. I can't imagine staying at my current weight. I feel like I have to lose weight, and I don't know how reliable that is because even when I was at a lighter weight, I thought the exact same thing. So I don't know how to navigate those feelings. I don't know how to navigate those thoughts because I've always had them. And it's a challenge to stop thinking about my body. I can't. I don't know how people go on their day without being self aware of how they look like or being worried about how they look like. Whenever I feel hungry, I feel like I'm a step closer to losing weight. But whenever I feel full, I feel like a failure. I feel like I gain weight. I feel like I'm doing everything wrong. I can't help but see a meal and think, oh, this is going to help me lose weight or this is going to make me gain weight. I think about my body when I dress. Oh, I can't wear that because I'm not skinny enough. I'll wear that when I lose weight. I think about my body when I sit, when I lie on my bed, when I'm walking, when I'm at school, when I'm at work, when I'm at home. I think about my body when I'm exercising. I've been so consumed by my thoughts about food that I don't remember the last time that I was able to go about my day without thinking about my body. And I dream of a life where I don't have to constantly think about my body. So I don't know if it's not obvious, but I'm an overthinker. I don't know if whoever's listening to this is also an overthinker, but it's basically your brain assumes that there's a threat. It can be physical, emotional, mental. So it identifies the threat and it tries to overthink. How can this affect me? What are some things that I can do so I can prevent this from damaging me? Our brain thinks that overthinking will prepare it for danger. I try to link that with our brain overthinking about my body, right? So in this case, danger is associated with my body. And my brain thinks that the way that I'm able to manage the danger is through my body and through food. And this reminds me to obviously my issues with food, my relationship with my dad. Something I learned in therapy was that the more I heal my relationship with my dad, the more I'm healing the relationship with food. Because yes, in one aspect, my dad did affect my relationship with food by teaching me everything he taught me. But in another aspect, I try to manage my relationship with my dad through food. So, in order to get my dad to love me and accept me and be there for me, I would follow the diet, I would exercise, I would try to lose weight. So, I was managing my relationship with my dad through food. So, we're managing danger through food, through our body. We will be safe if we are skinny. So, our body is urgently seeking weight loss because once we lose all the weight, we're going to be safe. Our brain will basically stop fixating on weight when the perceived threat is gone. So the moment our brain feels like we are safe emotionally, physically, and mentally is the moment our brain is going to stop fixating on our body. When I realized that, I was shocked. And I'm going to be honest, I feel like I've fallen to that conclusion several times. But something I've noticed with healing, you have to get the same conclusion over and over and over again in different ways. Like there's going to be different triggers that direct you to the same conclusion in order for you to actually get it. In order for you to understand how all those triggers are connected to the main thing, to the root. At this point, I'm like, okay, so I need to make sure that the threat is gone in order for me to stop fixating on that. But what's the threat? What do I have to make disappear or deal with in order for me to stop fixating? What exactly is the threat? Now, from this point on, I feel like this might be very different for whoever's listening. Obviously, not everyone who's listening, but at least some people will have a different answer for this. But I did get some prompts. I got 2 prompts that will help you kind of understand what that perceived threat is. So, number 1, if I gain weight, then blank. What's going to happen if you gain weight? The second prompt, if I stop thinking about my body all the time, then blank. What's going to happen if you stop thinking about your body? Why does your brain think that it has to be constantly fixating on your body in order to be safe? What happens when you stop? Obviously, I will share my responses. So for the first one, if I gain weight, then for this specific prompt, I get this vision of being a bucket. And this sounds really weird, but I'm like a bucket and water is pouring into the bucket and it starts overflowing. So the water starts spilling over the edge of the bucket and it starts making a whole mess. So for this specific case, my weight being the water and my body being the bucket, overflowing might represent shame, judgment, or even attention. Attention I don't want. Or maybe even the emotions that I'm hiding are overflowing. For the second one, if I stop thinking about my body all the time, then I will become unaware of my body and everyone else around me will become aware of my body and they will look down on me, they will laugh at me. Like I can literally visualize people laughing, covering their mouths and just like pointing at me. And then looking at me being like, oh, poor Isabella, she gained weight, she looks so bad and she doesn't even know it. So in this specific case, my hyper awareness is a form of protection. So I hyperfixate in order for that to not happen, to stay ahead of judgment. And I have to be honest, I do care about what people think about my body. Ideally, I wouldn't, but of course I care. But I don't think my hyper awareness is to protect myself from others' judgment, but my dad's judgment. And all I can remember is when I was a kid and my dad put me in the diet, he would take me to the doctor, like gave me this diet, very strict, no cheat meals. The very first day when she was gonna build a diet for me, I sat there and my dad had this conversation with her, basically just talking about how I just like to eat from outside and how I had no idea how to eat and didn't care about being healthy, just talking trash about me. Things that weren't even true. And I just sat there in silence because I couldn't really defend myself. It felt like they were cornering me. But I feel like a part of me feels very upset that the doctor didn't ask me about it. She didn't ask me if it was true. She just took my dad's word and judged me based on it. And then he would take me to that doctor every month. So every month I had to make sure that I lost weight because they would check if I didn't. If I'm in a caloric deficit every single day and I'm exercising every single day, I should be losing weight every time I go to the doctor. So when I started going to school and I started eating things from school, I started throwing up. I started deliberately skipping meals at home to make sure that even though I was buying things from school, I wasn't gaining weight. Because if they did find out, I would be in so much trouble. And I would love to understand what exactly trouble meant, how exactly it would have looked like if I wasn't losing weight. I don't remember. I don't think there was ever a month where I didn't lose weight. I mean, how could I? I was in a constant caloric deficit. I was throwing up. I was skipping meals. I was over exercising. But I'm so terrified of them finding out that I gain weight. I think that's my fear. Like, them finding out that I gain weight. But I don't know what comes after that. I don't know if they're going to scream at me. I mean, not right now, obviously. This was 12 years ago, but I don't know if they would have screamed at me. I feel like they would have been disappointed. They would have judged me. I feel like my dad would have been more strict with the diet, make sure that I would exercise more. I always talk about how my dad, he would punish me for not following the diet, but I guess I never really try to look at it from like a different perspective or a different angle, because yes, he would punish me for not following the diet. Could also say he was punishing me for not actively trying to lose weight. And I feel like crying now because he was basically like that for like 4 years of my life, every single day. Obviously, it stuck with me, and I have this sensation that I have to actively try to lose weight every single day. And although right now I don't have that urge, but I do feel like a failure when I'm not actively doing that. So although I don't feel the urge of doing that anymore, whenever I don't do it, I feel like a failure. I feel like I'm doing something wrong. Every single day I go to sleep and I'm laying on bed and I have this sensation that I did everything wrong in my day, and I'm scared of waking up the next day because it's the same sensation. I know I won't get it right. I haven't gotten it right for the past 12 years, but just giving myself the goal of I have to lose this amount of weight for this date, that is triggering me, because that's basically like me saying to myself when I was a child, I need to lose weight by the end of the month. Just the possibility of what it would happen if I don't makes me anxious. So not even thinking about it, like just knowing something bad is going to happen if I don't triggers me. Like it makes me so anxious. And I'm not saying that I can't, but I'm saying I'm afraid if I don't. So I will tell you what I decided to do, like how I decided to approach this, and some reflection after that. So I do feel like it would be really hard for me to just stop thinking about my body, like immediately stop thinking about my body. It feels impossible, especially because I'm not ready to let that go. I don't feel safe. I am perceiving a threat. I'm not exactly sure what is triggering it. To some extent, even I'm triggering it to myself. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like this is this is the remedy that I basically gave myself, I think, last episode. I'm not gonna shame myself for wanting to lose weight. At least now I understand why I desperately want to lose weight, you know? So instead of shaming myself, I'm going to slightly add things to the conversation that I have with myself so I can have something else to think about, so I can have the option to not only think about my body but also think about how it benefits my body. You cannot expect yourself to stop fixating on your body one day to the next. You cannot expect yourself to like immediately treat yourself like the nicest person ever when you've constantly treating yourself like shit. You can't. So I guess the question is, how can I make myself a safe environment for myself? I'll probably have an answer for next week's episode, just because I need to reflect a little bit more. I need to do more journaling, but that's what I have for you guys today. This is what I journaled yesterday. I feel like there's so much to think about, and honestly, I feel like crying. I feel like there's so many question marks in my life, in my feelings, in my thoughts, and I don't even know where to start. But I think that question, how can I make myself a safe environment for myself, is a good place to start. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope it was insightful. It helped you in your healing journey. Stay tuned for next week's episode. God bless you.